Guys, Chinese regulators just came out and laid the smackdown on every piece of FUD out there as it relates to Chinese listed entities. And that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video, so smash that like button and subscribe if you're new. You're watching More Money, let's get it. Guys, late on Christmas Eve, the Chinese Security and Regulatory Commission gave us a wonderful Christmas gift and published draft rules for filings by companies seeking offshore listings. And let's be clear what these rules are and what they're not. What these rules really are tighter rules for Chinese companies that are looking to list overseas. What these rules aren't are outright bans for VIEs, irrespective of what everyone in the American media has been saying. So basically, we were right on this channel throughout the whole process of FUD perpetuated by the North American media. And let me reiterate what I said in the previous videos. They had no basis for their reportings, they had no sources, which is what we called them out for, and they ended up taking a huge L, or a rock bottom if you will, as the CRSC just buried them. With that being said, there are 5 important takeaways from the CRSC press release that I want to go over with you guys right now. The first is that the CRSC reiterated that overseas listings have played a positive role in supporting Chinese companies, and they are important because they allow China to integrate into the global economy. Why is that important? Well, it demonstrates that the Chinese government is open for business and they are looking to create the process necessary to get there. They want their companies listed internationally, guys. That's really what they're saying there. The second important takeaway is that the CRSC once again reiterated that both they and other relevant government authorities in China fully respect their nation's companies' choices for listing venues, and that attitude is not going to change anytime soon. So once again, guys, that largely puts to bed any speculation that a ban on foreign listed VIEs is coming. Okay, so with that said, what about the risk that US investors always cite with VIEs where you can own nothing and your assets could be taken away? That's probably the number one thing that's always said in my comments, and my answer is always the same. Why would they want to do that? Because if you burn investors today, you're not going to be able to raise capital tomorrow. And when it comes to the Chinese government's perspective, there is no real statement that can be made which can address issues that can arise in the future. But this next statement made by the CRSC, I do believe goes a long way. They expressed concerns with overseas listed Chinese companies committing serious violations of laws and regulations such as accounting frauds. And they specifically called out what they believe is the bigger issue here, which is that these situations have damaged the international reputation of Chinese companies and negatively impacted their overseas financing activities. So through improving the regulatory system for overseas listings, they believe that security can be better ensured. And let's talk for a second about what that really shows. I believe that it really shows to us that they are concerned with their reputation internationally, and they want fair and equitable treatment, which starts with better regulation over their domestic names. And guys, in my opinion at least, I think this goes a long way into addressing the fears of buying into Chinese listed names. As more messages in this tone continue to come out, investors will eventually become more and more confident into investing in China. The fourth takeaway is that the CRSC wants to promote cross-border securities regulatory cooperation with their international counterparts. This includes a step up on cross-border enforcement cooperation and to form synergies in cracking down on violations of laws and regulations such as financial fraud, so as to safeguard fairness, maintain market order, and protect the legitimate rights of global investors. So there's 2 key takeaways here. The first is that the theme of protecting global investors is once again reiterated. They want their companies to shine on a global stage, and so by focusing on protecting the global investor, no matter where they're domiciled, is the way in which that they're going to get there. The second key takeaway here is that from that statement, it is clear that they want to cooperate with international securities agencies. And this is nothing new because they've already shown their hand with dealing with US regulators. They want to resolve the listing requirements and are proactively and positively working towards it. I sincerely believe that a compromise will be reached despite what the media is telling you. Just stop reading anything issued by Bloomberg. That's my best advice to you. Finally, what I believe to be the most important statement in the release, if Chinese companies are complying with domestic laws and regulations, companies with VIE listed structures are eligible to list overseas after filing with the CRSC. So once again, the expected ban on VIE listed entities is just FUD. It was fake news, and it was always unsubstantiated, as I was able to call out on the day that the news reports came out. And once again, that gave me a little bit of notoriety, as it was something that was picked up by New Money, and he called out this channel on his channel, which is crazy because he's 100 times bigger than we are here. And guys, if I'm gonna be honest, as I've been looking back into this year, if I didn't get married this year, that would have been the #1 moment of my 2021. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do my absolute best to bring you non-hype research-focused content, and with your subscription, YouTube extends the reach of the channel, which allows us to help more people. Also, if you're unfamiliar with what's going on with the regulations surrounding the VIE listed entities, I think it's very important that you brush up on the latest happenings, which I fully covered right here.